all. I'm here with lovely Sarah. We're getting ready here. We just filed off her first hand here, and I realized, oh, we should have a little chat, and y'all can come on and we can talk about what we're going to do. So I just filed off the color, and you do want them a bit shortened, correct?
Yes, please.
What they grew out. So when you shorten, you want to make sure you're holding your E-file just straight up and down. You don't want to be trying to shorten it at an angle. And don't mind my fan while my Valentino's going, but it's what saves me from the dust. So I'm going to shorten there, and then always thin out when you shorten. You want to make sure that you don't have a lot of thickness to your nail at all. You can read for me.
Oh, Jada says hi.
Oh, hello, Jada. And you want to pump up your speed. So I use a foot pedal so that I don't have to constantly go back and forth to my electric file to turn up the speed and turn it down depending on where I am on the nail. So it's like driving a car. You just use your foot. So I press harder when I want it faster and lighten it when I want it slower. And so when I go to take length off and when I'm on the top of the nail taking color off, you'll see things go much faster because I will zip right through. Look, another Sarah. Hello, Courtney from Ohio. All right, so this is what she had on. This is Vert, I believe, and some loose glitters. And they're about a month old, maybe a month?
Yeah.
About a month old, which is pretty norm. So I slow down when I come up around the cuticle, and you can see how I do it. I feather up. I don't want to create rings of fire. I'm really very anti-ring of fire. So unless I'm right on top, flat on the surface of the nail, if I'm going around the cuticle area, I'm going to do that feathering technique, and that's going to prevent any rings of fire from happening. So I'm flat on the nail and zipping right down. These are zebra sanding bands. These are the ones that I sell on my website because I love them so very much. But here I go again, feathering up towards the cuticle. So I'm lightening my speed a little bit, and I just push the color up, and that prevents any ring of fire situation from happening. And then when I'm going on the surface of the nail, I'm just completely flat. So Sarah was figuring out exactly what she wanted, and she wants to go plaid. And I know some of you guys struggle with stampers, new stampers in general, so I'm going to talk a little bit about new stampers. I'm going to grab a new stamper and show you how I prep them to begin with. I even have had videos where I've grabbed a new one and didn't prep it properly. So it is important. Sometimes people will say, oh, my stamper came and it worked perfect out of the box. Awesome, congratulations. Does not always happen. So I'm going to help show you how to get yours functioning how they should from day one. It's quiet in the house.
Mm-hmm.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. We had a quiet Thanksgiving at home.
I know there's a lot of people that, you know, of course, with everything involved, only had Thanksgiving with their huge couple people. It ended up being just me and my mom and my brother, so ours was pretty small.
The news is saying today, like, it'll be several weeks before we see the effects of Thanksgiving.
Well, they say it's supposed to be, what, 3 to 5 days, so maybe it won't be several weeks.
Right.
Maybe if people got sick at someone's house, it should be sooner than that, like now. But, you know, they want to make sure everybody feels like it's Thanksgiving is a problem. I don't know. I know more people that stayed home and didn't go see family than people that did. So
Yeah, me too.
I think it was a lot less of that than what
we
the media was worried
normally
about.
would go to like a gathering of like 30 people, big family gathering. We just opted not to go this year, and I don't even know if they all got together or not.
Yeah. I cooked Oh, I made the best leftovers. So I grew up, my mom always used leftover turkey to make enchilada pie. You ever had enchilada pie? It's like lasagna.
Really?
But with enchilada stuff. Yeah. So she'd always made it with turkey, and I always remember it being super good. So, of course, when I asked her, hey, what's the recipe for enchilada pie? She's like, I don't know. Like, Mom, how are you supposed to pass on these tidbits of knowledge? So she didn't know. So I was like, all right, so I'm going to do a little Googling, see what people have for recipes of enchilada pie. What am I forgetting? How should I layer it? Whatever. So I kind of randomly looked up a bunch of different stuff. Hello. Looked up a bunch of different stuff and ended up doing something that I never do, which is created my own recipe.
Oh,
I know.
Good
I never do that. That's
you.
scary.
That's really good for you.
Yeah. All right.
You're
so,
creative in general, though, so
yeah,
you have that going for you.
But cooking is scary. I have no problem like trying other people's recipes, but when it comes to just randomly doing my own, I don't think so. It's just not going to happen. All right. So let's get things front and center so y'all can see what I'm doing. What's going on? Sorry. I just want to make sure we're in camera. Alrighty. Hello, Madison. Kind of bunny. Getting at my toolsies. Okay.
It's delayed. I love it.
It's what?
It's the camera's delayed.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, it does seconds. Tell me where my situation is. A little bit. All right. There, see? It's a little better. A little bit more eye on the prize. All right. So give everything a nice good push. If they feel like they're super stuck, then you can always hit it with a bit first, but she's not super stuck. There's a little bit of stuck, but we'll be cleaning that up with my 2S bit. So yeah, so I came up with the recipe, which was delicious, and it turned out so good. My husband's like, don't change anything.
Did you write it down?
I did. I took notes because it's a lot of layering. So you take your leftover turkey and cut it all up. And then I started with a layer of tortillas. So like I used flour. So I did a layer of flour tortillas. I did carb, like the carb balance ones that really taste like regular ones, but are a lot less carbs. So I did a layer of those and then sprinkled just a tiny bit of cheese, basically for glue, on the tortilla, and then put a good layer of chopped up turkey on, and then sprinkled it with some onions, and then black beans, and then drizzled it with a little bit of the sauce, and then a layer of cheese, just not much cheese, just like for glue again, just a sprinkling, and then another layer of tortillas, and then another layer of turkey, and then a layer of corn, just one can of corn spread out, and then a layer of tomatoes. I used sliced, what did I use? Stewed, like Mexican stewed tomatoes, and then a couple cans of Rotel, and I just chopped it all, made sure that they were all, because the stewed tomatoes are massive.
Yeah.
So I kind of chopped them up so everything was small, and then did a layer of the tomatoes, and then drizzled some sauce, and then tortilla, and then cheese, or sauce, and then cheese. So, I mean, it was in a lasagna pan. It was a good size. And I just used the Safeway brand enchilada sauce. It has a little kick to it. It's pretty good.
Oh, spicy.
Yeah, it wasn't super spicy. Like, I could handle it, but a little sour cream on the top does wonders. It was so good, I'm telling you.
Did you use, what type of cheese did you use? Like a Mexican one?
I just used sharp cheddar for most of it, and then I ran out. So then I used, I think, medium cheddar. But I was going to maybe use, like, pepper jack. I'm kind of glad I didn't because it already had enough kick to it.
Right.
But you could use Mexican cheese. I just tend to not get the pre-shredded cheese, so I get a block and shred.
Joanne says her husband can hear you. He says, I hear your lady again.
Hi, Joanne. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're just talking about Thanksgiving leftovers because why not?
Yeah. So we made a big turkey so that we could have leftovers, because typically we go somewhere else and we don't have leftovers to take home. So my husband wanted to cook a turkey at home, and he had never done it, which was a treat for me.
Oh, my.
Because he was like, just let me do it.
Did you tell him to use the bag? The bag is the secret.
But he, at the very end, decided that he wanted to do it on the Traeger. So he didn't smoke it, but he did it on the barbecue. And he babysat it a lot. Like, he kept going out there and basting and putting more butter on it.
Sounds like a lot of work.
But he just is kind of that way, that he has to just double check it all. But then the next day, he was dedicated to making his mom's turkey and dumpling soup. Mm-hmm. So his mom has passed, but he
follows the tradition.
Tried to go from memory.
How did that go?
Well, he loved it. We have this vat of soup. We have like maybe 10 or 15 cups
I understand.
Of soup. But
because when Jared gets a wild hair and wants to make soup, he gets the largest stock pot in the world. I don't even know where the stock pot came from. But he gets this huge stock pot and makes this massive thing of soup that basically he's the only one that's going to eat it. So we have soup in the freezer forever. So if anyone ever wants to come over to my house and have soup, we got soup.
Yep, that's our house too, because basically my husband has been eating the chicken and dumplings for lunch all this whole week because nobody else really loved it. And I felt kind of bad because the kids were kind of like, not really my favorite, but it was very nostalgic for him.
But it was turkey and dumpling, right? Because he used turkey instead of chicken.
Mm-hmm. And we boiled the carcass and made really good bone broth and
all the work.
Mm-hmm. So we did the work because we were home, because what else are you going to do?
Right.
And of course, we decorated for Christmas like the next day.
Yes.
Because what else are you going to do?
Right.
But that's kind of how our Thanksgiving went. And I usually go Black Friday shopping, but I did not go out this year. I just did a lot of online shopping on Friday.
If any of your clients ever has these little bits of just callus, you can always hit them with your little bit. Okay, so this is my 2S bit. This is what I use to prep. If someone gets a little callus that might start cracking, you can always run your bit over it, and it'll work just like if you were using a file or like foot filing a callus, something like that. She gets nice deep sidewalls, and so she can get calluses. So use your little tool as you're working around to get them as soon as possible. I guess we should talk about nails sometimes.
Yeah.
So yes, that was my 2S prep bit. I talk about this bit a lot in a ton of videos. It's my favorite. I use it for everyone. I'm just trying to clean up some of the flying situation. I almost said flying buttresses. Huh. Speaking of, so my mom said that PBS has a special right now on rebuilding Notre Dame.
Really?
Yeah, so I kind of want to see that.
I'm sure you will watch that.
Yes.
That's so sad.
I know. I remember when it was on, I was doing nails, and someone came in and they're like, Notre Dame's burning. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? What did you say? What are these words coming out of your mouth? And, yeah, sad. So we watched it burn for a long time. And then we went there last year when we were in Paris for like a day on the way to Rome, I think. And they had it all like sectioned off, like that whole island almost had giant boards everywhere where they were rebuilding it. So I think it'd be interesting for sure. So Joanne says, try spatchcock. Spatchcock?
Spatchcock.
What is that? Have you heard of this?
Joanne will probably tell us, but I think it's when you like fillet the turkey flat, like cut down the breastbone and make it be flat. But I
what
might
kind
be
of
wrong.
pan and oven do you have to do that?
That's a real guess.
I'm a big believer in the bag. We are big bag people. My mom's been using the turkey bag forever, and so I, creature of habit, I use the bag. But it always comes out so nice. But what happens is one year on accident, I put the turkey in upside down.
Oh.
And so I brought it out, and I'm like, why does the turkey look funny? I mean, it's all golden and everything, but the shape is a little off. And my mom was like, oh my gosh, you put it upside down. Well, what we also learned was putting it upside down meant all the juices go to the breast. And so it's actually a lot tastier. Yeah, so now we put it in upside down on purpose. But it means you don't get the little button pop out. So you just have to keep an eye on it. On making sure it cooks.
Sense, though, to do it that way.
You think, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, no one ever talks about, hey, why don't you put it upside down? But it works so well because then it's sitting in all the juices. And... you know, you still get the golden skin stuff from the other side, but it's much juicier meat. So that's my little trick of the day. Put your bird in upside down.
Mm-hmm. You're going to show tricks on how to do plaid later today.
Right, yeah, we're going to do that next. And then stuffing it, like some people don't stuff their bird, but I have always used, because of course my mother always used the Mrs. Cubbins stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's the way to go.
Yeah, and we always did the stuffing in the bird, and we used cheesecloth, which works so well. So you like put all your stuffing in some cheesecloth, and then you shove it in, and then you keep filling it until you can't fill it anymore. And that way, when the turkey's done, you just grab the cheesecloth and pull it out in one giant thing and dump it in a bowl. There's always a little bit extra, which is kind of nice because then you bake that and it ends up being a little bit drier. And so then you kind of mix that stuffing with the stuffing that's really moist from the bird. And it makes perfect stuffing.
Do you do gravy?
We do. Normally we use the juices from the bird to make the gravy, but this time we had gone out to the coast in Oregon and I did not bring my little gravy separator doodad. So I've just picked up the seasoning packet of gravy stuff that people use, and my mom made that, but I'm not a huge gravy person, so I didn't really care. I didn't care that there wasn't gravy. All right, so that's prepped. So you just want to make sure you're prepping all the way around. As you can see, she went a month. I used Trinity, and she had no lifting. You're just blending around the cuticle, making sure it's all smooth. And then I glide on top of the nail, make sure it's all nice and thin. Dust a little bit, come around the cuticle. I always, even though I prepped with that bit, I always make sure I go around the cuticle with my file and prep again. You can't underestimate how important it is to get a good prep in. And if you want your clients to be able to go a month without lifting or any problems, proper prep is key. So, and if you look at down the barrel, you can see that it's thicker. So you want to make sure that you're gliding your file onto the nail and getting down almost to their natural nail. You can leave a little bit of gel protecting the nail, but for the most part, you want it thin down as much as possible because that's going to give you the thinnest application. It's going to make sure it looks nice and natural as much as possible, but still gives you strength that you need. She's having now. There is a color similar to Rebel. Was it Rebel or Retro you wanted?
I think Retro, but I'm looking at your line of reds up there.
Yeah, there's a lot of reds.
What are you thinking?
So, well, I was going to say that we have one, but I think it's closer to Retro, this one. Rebel, I think, is more red.
I like that one.
This is a mood polish. I'll show you what it does.
Oh.
It's fun.
Can I matte it?
Yeah.
You can?
Matte is top coat, so you can make anything matte.
And it'll still do the mood?
And
it'll have the plaid?
Yeah.
Whoa.
All the fun things at one time.
That's a lot.
Because then you get,
do it.
Yeah, it's way fun.
Why not?
It's really fun. It's really, really fun. I know. It's one of my favorites is this one because it's a really nice, pretty color, really neutral, but I'll show you it gets brighter when it's warm. So it's fun because if you're warm, you'll get the little bit brighter color, but if you're cold, it'll be the darker color, and if you're just comfortable, it will be like an ombre. So your tips will be dark, and then where your cuticle is will be brighter because your tips kind of hang off the end, and so they get colder. So you get kind of an ombre effect, which is really fun.
Cinnamon latte.
Cinnamon latte.
That's a fun group color you have there, named after different...
Well, here's the catch. They smell.
Also?
Yes. They smell, they almost kind of don't smell right now anymore, but I don't even know.
Way.
I know. I don't even know if they smell like very much after a couple of days because it's new. I don't know. People haven't come back yet. But my friend who's been doing this product line for a while is like, well, you can kind of smell it for a few days and then you can smell it when you're removing it. And I'm like, all right, well, that's fun. But they taste, they don't taste. They smell.
All the senses today.
In one shot.
This is very special.
Yes. All right. So I'm just going to check length here. Cuticle to free edge. Make them as even as possible. Cuticle to free edge. Okay. That one's a bit long. I'm testing these files out. My favorite files, they changed them and I don't like it. And so I'm testing other files to see what I like. And these are okay, but see the little black dots? Drops too much grit.
Ooh, shucks.
I don't like that. So I'm using them while I'm waiting for my next ones to try, but these are not the winners. They're nice and coarse, but they're just not, they drop too much grit. I hate when a company will like change something, and I don't know if they get like, you're changing a file. You're changing like one of the biggest tools that we use, and you don't tell anybody, you don't say anything, you don't like come out and be like, hey, we know these are wrong, but the new ones are coming. They just, oh, they changed. They must have changed the paper. And it's like, no. You can't just like change something like that when it's that major.
I think it's hard because a lot of things aren't regulated by like quality control or...
Right. Ooh, I must have a paper cut. Ow. Oh, yes, right there. Brutal. That was a lot of alcohol on that little paper cut. All right. Joanne answered talking about the turkey.
Oh, cut the backbone.
On either side, flatten it. Use a jelly roll pan. Bit of water in the pan. Golden brown turkey. No mushy bottom and cooks very quickly. Okay, I'm shutting up now. Well, you can shut up after you do a video on how to make this kind of turkey. Well, now that I know how good the enchilada pie was, I'm like tempted to make a turkey another time during the year. All right, I'll show you what this turns into.
Spatchcock the turkey. You'll cook it very quickly, and then you can use it for your enchilada pie.
All right, then. So...
Oh,
it gets brighter.
Cool.
Isn't that pretty?
That's really beautiful.
So that'll be a nice little ombre, and we'll do your plaid right on top. Look at that one. I want to do that for like St. Patrick's Day or something awesome. These ones are so subtle you can't even tell on here. But what I've learned is that these kind of the strength of how powerful they are after they've been swatched kind of fades over time. So I've been re-swatching some of them and learning that my swatches are not 100% accurate because one of them was almost red and I'm like, this is supposed to be really dark, and it was really dark.
That's really neat. That green one is, I mean, I guess up here in the Pacific Northwest is always an option.
Always an option with Seahawk green.
And the Sounders right now.
I know. All right, so I'm using my 106 brush, pushing around the cuticle like a little pillow, leaving about a 1 week grow out area for color, and then gliding over the top. Pushing it around if I feel like I need any. It looks like there's a little divot right here, so I'm just going to take a little string. Let's try that again. A little string. Just drop that in. While that's flattening, I'm just going to brush off the tip. You want to keep these as thin as possible. So you brush off the tip. Turn that back down. It works really well for the heater, for getting to see the...
I know, it worked really fast.
What's really fun is sometimes I'll heat up the whole thing and then I get a piece of ice and drop an ice on there, and so then you can like really see the color difference on there too. It's like a toy. It's like a new toy. All right, 2 seconds for me. I re-swatch my mood colors at least once a year. I don't know, because they came with the setup, because I got the whole line to distribute, so they sent me some, which was awesome. I don't know how long it's been since they've been swatched, so I'm guessing that it's been a while, because it definitely don't change. They don't change as much as they probably should. Some of them, the cold color has really kind of faded out into the light color. It's very strange. But, you know, I don't mind because it's kind of fun. 2 seconds. Okay. But I definitely am loving the moon polishes. I only did mine in green and gold because A, it was Jared's birthday, and B, when I asked him what color he wanted me to do for his birthday, of course he said green and gold because he thinks no farther than Packers colors. We're tied, same record right now. Although we're technically above them, I guess, because of how our divisions are playing, but
it's gonna go down in the household.
Well, if we get to the playoffs against each other, because that's the only way we're going to play each other this year is in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, yeah.
So, we'll see. It's always fun.
I remember did they play each other last year? Do they normally play each other?
They normally do. Last year, I think they didn't as well. So it was like 2 years in a row now that they haven't. We were like, weird. But I can't remember if we played them in the playoffs. We might have.
I feel like the Seahawks lost.
Yeah, I wouldn't, yeah.
I don't know.
I'm a little scared if they get to the playoffs right now just because our defense is not always the best. And I'm like, I don't want to get like a total slaughtering. But they're very hot and cold. Like, you just don't know how they're going to play. All right, so if you're still watching me do nails here. So again, I'm bouncing kind of just right over the nail, filling in this little bit that tends to have a little bit of a divot on her nail, and then gliding forward. And what I'm looking at when I'm doing this is the line of light, which is that reflection in her nail. And as you move the nail around and as the product settles, you can see where the lines will have wiggles, and where there's a wiggle, it's not smooth. So it's all about a light touch. When I was doing that, I'm just using the very small corner of my brush. And you do that to just move it around very easily. So again, pillowing towards the cuticle and gliding down. Glide, glide, glide. And then along the front here, this is where it bumps up, and you want to make sure you don't have that. So you want to always brush down. That's going to make sure that it's nice and thin and it's smooth on the front. Do you see that? It just falls nice and smooth. If you don't do that, that's how people get the bump on the front of the nail.
Do you want this other hand in for a full cycle?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Now, when you're in the salon nowadays, you know, everything is very temperature sensitive. So if your salon is super cold at night and you get in the morning and you're like, man, my gel is so hard to work with, it's because your gel has gotten really cold overnight. So it's always good to, it's always good to have, you know, some kind of heating pad around if that's the situation you're in, because you want to make sure that that's not going to be a problem. So I just noticed that she's got some stuff sticking out here, and we don't want that because that's where her product's going to sit, and if it sticks out, it can cause lifting. Do you see that? Right there. There we go.
Gail Harris says, hello.
Hello, Gail. So again, pillow around the cuticle. Keep your brush flat as you're gliding this. I get a lot of questions on what brush should I get, and I tell people I prefer this brush because it's flat. If you use an oval brush, a rounded brush, a brush that has any kind of belly at all, you cannot do this technique as efficiently, because when you glide your brush over the nail, you're going to leave indents. It's going to leave divots, and that's a problem. Use a heating pad or a candle warmer. You can use either. I find that the candle warmers sometimes can get super hot, but if you use something to help lessen the heat, you can use that. So you can use a mug warmer as well. those are fine. It's just finding something, check the heat, make sure it doesn't get too hot, and you're only going to need to do it for a little while at the beginning of the day. Once your gel is warm to the temperature you want, it should stay like that all day. So you're not going to have to be constantly changing the temperature. But it definitely can make your product a little bit smoother if it feel like it's too thick. Gail says she loves this brush. It's her favorite. It's essential. If you want to do this technique properly, it's a gloss brush. It's meant to glide smooth down over the nail. And I like to use oval brushes if I'm moving gel around in a sculpting sense. But if you're glossing a nail, you're treating Trinity right now. This is what I'm using, is Trinity. I'm treating it basically like a top gloss. And so to get a nice gloss, you need to have a nice flat brush. If your brush has a belly, you will get divots. So there's a little bit of an indent here. So again, I'm just going to drab a little bit. Once you have a slick layer on the nail, which is a wet layer, once I've covered the nail, there's what we call a slick layer. If you drizzle a little bit of gel, it'll just melt right into it. Okay, perfect. So a few seconds and then you can come in. How do I store my brush? I wipe it and then I literally put it into my drawer on top of my sticks. So I have a little like pencil holder tray, and I have fresh orange wood sticks, and my brush just sits right on top of those. It's not very exciting, but it's what it is. All right, so we are going for, which color? This one, right? Nope. Cinnamon latte.
Cinnamon latte.
So this is the new Mood Perfect Match Cinnamon latte. So pretty, and it's so funny because after a few nails will start to warm up because you're probably warm enough. And it starts color changing as I'm doing it. And it trips me out just a little bit. Because you go to brush on it and you feel like you're streaking. So one color I did on somebody is like orange and goes to brown.
Oh no.
And so as it was warming, it's turning orange. But then I go to apply my second coat and it looks like I'm just streaking brown all over the nail. It's very trippy.
As if like the bottle was switched on you, right?
Yeah, like you feel like you're
all of a sudden.
Yeah, you feel like you were doing something inherently very wrong. But this is a nice subtle one, but definitely fun.
This is pretty.
It's a really pretty color. I matched it, and it's definitely like basically the same color as retro. It's just with more fun. More fun added in. I like fun. I can smell it now. It does have a little bit of a... You smell it?
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't smell like nail polish. It smells like something fruity almost. It's interesting. It's called the Mood Cafe because someone decided, hey, might as well just add scent to it while we're at it. Why not?
Scented and color changing.
Yeah. It's for people that want all the fun.
All the things.
All the things. I have Larissa helping pack still. She's been very helpful. I know she's probably supposed to be going to school at some point, but it's a good thing about homeschool. You can see how it's starting to change a little bit. It's pretty fun. So I'm going to show you guys some kind of 101 techniques for getting started with a new stamper, because I'll show you why when I get my new stamper out. And in the process, I'm going to show you something fun. You guys do anything fun for Christmas? Is it possible to do anything fun this year?
No, I think I told you today. I went up. Well, maybe I didn't. I went up to the outlet malls, and there was like nobody there. It was kind of heavenly because I got a lot done in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel overwhelmed by all the people because there was no people.
That's nice.
So I could kind of do some price shopping.
That's
you
good.
know, I could pull up like what I had saved in a cart on the internet and compare it to what they had up offering in the store.
It's kind of nice.
So that was rewarding today. I felt like.
Did you find any good steals?
I found a couple of things, and also it was helpful because the people in the store are like so bored that I could just say, you know, like I'm looking for this or I'm looking for that, and they could point me right in the direction.
They are happy to help anyone.
I was a little bit disappointed, so I was looking at UGG slippers, for example, and I had them in my cart from Nordstrom, and then I thought, oh, for sure the UGG outlet will be able to beat their price, and they were not able to beat their price.
Really?
And they didn't even offer. I said, I have this price, can you beat this price? You know, it's right here, and they would not beat it.
So the UGG outlet was more expensive than Nordstrom.
Yeah.
Well, that's weird.
So, and then, you know, obviously, like, I don't have to go to Nordstrom either. I'll probably maybe look at, I don't know, some other, like, sometimes those shoe stores like Famous Footwear carry all different brands. So I might try something like that.
Who's getting some Uggs?
All the kids.
Oh.
The 2 boys and Ella and my daughter.
Well, the boys like Uggs, not like the kind that we wear, right? Is there like a boy version?
They like they're called ascots, but they're like the driver shoes. Like, well, my 2 boys are in college, and so literally my one son wears them to class. So they have like a rubber bottom, waterproof rubber bottom, and I guess he feels like those are worthy of wearing
Outside
out
adventures.
in public. Yeah, he really just doesn't even care, which is fine with me. And, you know, like no laces. He can slip them on and off slippers. So it sounds about right for some college kids. For his 8 o'clock class, you know, that's kind of early. So
Right.
it's like, I need some slippers. And he definitely wears them because the ones he's had for like 2 years are totally worn out. So he wore them out.
Isn't this trippy when you go to paint this on right away? It starts
changing
warming
right away.
Because you're warm right now, and the light's been making your hand warm. And so, what's really funny is that there's some colors that turn to clear. So as you're applying it, it disappears, and I think that's hilarious. There's a little black fuzz. In case people wonder why when I go to do that, if I scrape my hand across the nail, it's because there's a black dot. Possibly from these files that I'm testing that have not won the situation. All right, so after I finish this hand, I'm going to go ahead and grab my Outshine. Outshine is a no-wipe top coat from Profiles, and it's the one that I specifically use for stamping. And you're basically not really applying it for your top coat per se. I'm still going to be applying top coat later. This is just going to be my base for my stamping because it makes sure that everything comes off your stamper like perfection. All right, so grabbing my Outshine. Are we doing all of the nails? Are we doing a couple of nails? All is probably, give me your hand.
Oh.
All is probably a bit much. So typically I suggest either these two or these two.
These two.
You want these two?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want your thumb as well?
No.
Okay, just these two? Okay. So the ones that I'm going to stamp, I'm going to go ahead and use my Outshine. And you want to cure this at least 10 seconds, typically somewhere between 10 and 30 seconds. If you go less than 10 seconds, it's not cured enough, and your stamp won't come off properly. But 30 seconds, between 10 and 30 seconds, there's kind of a sweet spot of perfection where it's so great. Oh, I got it on the cuticle. If you do that like I did, make sure before you put it in, you get it out. Okay, go ahead. was these two, huh?
No.
No. Which ones am I
The
doing?
ring finger and the middle finger.
These two. Okay. Not thinking.
It's okay.
All right, you can come out with that other hand now. All right, now time for the fun stuff. So let me clean up my spot a little bit here. Make sure I have a nice hard surface. I normally have my towel under there, but you don't want to have your towel under there right now. And I'm going to take my stamping plate, make sure that it's real good and clean. This one is Pretty in Plaid. There's two versions of this, both of which are so much fun. What's wrong? You has it been 30 seconds? Possibly. Yeah, maybe. Okay. So, all right. So this is what I wanted to show you. I don't even have this. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I will make sure I put these online before I put the video on YouTube. But if you're watching this live on Facebook, I don't even have these online yet. These are these super fun little Christmas kits from Clear Jelly Stamper. And I'll probably talk about it more later, but it comes with some metallics, which is really gorgeous, and a new stamping plate. Look at how cute those are.
Those are cute.
So I like that they kind of did it differently. Instead of making it like all red and green and bright, I mean, you can pick whatever colors you want, but I like that they kind of did a little differently. I love this. That's super cute. All right.
It's more of a wintry theme. You can use it all winter.
Yes. All right. So this, and it has a new stamping plate. So, or stamper. So I wanted to go through, when you get a new stamper, how to make it work as best as possible. So, brand new. This is a cute little square one, which is pretty smart, really, because if you think about it, like, this is the shape of a nail. But I'm gonna show you guys what I mean by when it's brand new, if it doesn't pick up, and then how we're going to change that. All right, so we're gonna do, what did you say? White, black, green?
Green, black, and then silver.
Green, black, and silver. All right, here's my little swatchies. Do you like that kind of green, or do you want more of like a metallic-y green, like that?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this one is number 13.
Oh, if we're gonna do silvery green, metallic-y green, let's do green, black, and white.
Green, black, and white. Sometimes I feel like these are not. Maybe it was 31. There it is. 61, not 16. This is my dyslexic problem sometimes. All right, so black, green, and white. Okay, so we'll use the green for either these two, one of these two. This is typically what I use the color for, the accent. Yeah. Okay. All right, so we'll go white, and we're gonna see if this picks up. So what happens a lot of time with a brand new stamper, I will show you. New little stamping card. And you pick it up, and it does that. Do you guys see? It did not want to pick up worth anything. So what you want to do is take some acetone. I know that people are like, don't ever use acetone on your stamper. But bottom line is, sometimes when it's a brand new stamper, you need a little bit of acetone because it will not pick up properly. So I had a girl that was on a message board this last week, and she's like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, people. And I said, try to wipe it with some acetone and just let it dry for a minute. And so we went, she's like, I've used the sticky pad, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this. And she could not get it to work at all. But I told her to do the acetone trick, and next thing I know, she's sending me all these pictures. She's like, oh my gosh, it worked. So that is the secret trick. So this is the sticky pad that I love so much. So it comes, when you get a new one, you just peel off the old. Yes, this is from Uber Chic. I do sell this one on my website because it is essential to my life. I use the Plaid all winter. All right, so let's try this again. Sometimes it takes a couple times with the acetone. We'll see how this picks up this time.
Lately, whenever I use the stamping plate,
check it out. It's a little bit better. Look at that. It's getting much better. We're going to do one more time. I'm just going to wipe it one more time. What does that say? Go ahead.
Lately, whenever I use that stamping plate, I always have trouble using the plate.
Using the plate. I don't know if it's because it's been old or scraped a million times, but every now and then I'll get a new plate. Like I do have 2 of these because I have so overused mine. I can't even tell you. All right. Let's try this again. She's knocking, but she knows I'm here, so. Oh, that one did not pick up either. So what we're waiting for is we're trying to make sure that this is picking up adequately, and it takes some work getting your stamper working. So don't give up if you are new to stamping and it's not picking up properly. Sometimes you just have to work it into submission. Get it into gear. It's my next one. No, my husband will go get it. She was just in the video watching. So oh. She knows I'm talking.
Maybe that's it.
All right, so pick it up. It's getting better. We're still working on it. And we're scraping. Oh no, she wasn't in the video. This is someone else. Picking up. All right, so my next client's here, so I'm not going to keep playing with this right now. I'm going to grab my old trusty, super old one. But as you can see, as I'm working the stamper, getting it accustomed, it's really starting to function better. So when you have a new stamper, play with it, clean it, get it working really well. Maybe it's my plate. Because this should not have been. This is a weird card too. It's a new card for me. Hold the fence. Let me try a different one. I'm going to try this one and see if it's that pickup. I use it so much I might have scraped it to death. Let's try our other stamper. I'm going to use a different scraper because I feel like this scraper is too bendy. I'm going to grab my old trusty. Don't you guys love live videos where nothing happens exactly as you want it to? Sometimes the live videos that people do are so cute because they're like always perfect and they've prepped everything, and I'm like, congratulations.
They practice.
It was the scraper. So sometimes, y'all, you got to figure out the problem. But see how perfectly that picked up that time? All right. Yeah, see? Stamper's great. Ooh, Ooh. The scraper was the problem. Today it's the scraper, not the stamper. If your scraper is not stiff enough, it's just more flimsy. I don't know. Not working the same.
But back to your point, the acetone made that stamper pick up really well.
It did. Yeah, the acetone worked perfectly. It probably worked the first time. We just kept messing with it because of the stupid scraper problem. Cute. And we're going to move on to the black. Let's put that there before I spill it. And this one is, I believe this one is the sticky black. Doesn't really matter if you're using the sticky black or not sticky black. Sticky black will let you foil over it if you want to have a foil nail as well. Okay, and then line up where want it. I want these right there. How cute you are. Clean. You enjoying. My next client's enjoying the show.
So cool. Oh, you have no idea. We have all the things today. My polish is mood changing. And it also smells like cinnamon.
Oh, I don't think I need to.
I know. But yeah, I
The
was
mood
like, we
changing
have
might not
all
be-
the things today.
All the things of fun.
Okay, the plaid is just so cute.
It is really, really cute. And it's fun because you can really customize it. And so I'm going to flip that this way. So this is our nice green accent. Just because I wanted to get this hand done, and then I'll sign off on y'all, and then we will finish the rest. I don't want to get that on her. See, this is what I... that nail is what I use to clean up stamping all day long. So that's what happens.
Ooh,
Ooh,
pretty.
give it a little clean, a little wipe. So normally when I'm doing all 10, if I'm not on a video, I'll do all the white on all of them, all of the black on all of them, and then the green. So work efficiently, my friends. So you can use your stamper to do it. I typically just go around with my finger because it's a little bit more exact than the card is. And then line it up where you want it. Let's see, maybe I want it this way. Cute. All right, so that is it. What I want to do is top coat it. And what I've found is that I really like to use Ultra Gloss when you are top coating over the top of Outshine. And the reason is if you've been top coating before and you are top coating over your Outshine after you have stamped, you might notice that your top coat will shrink. And when your top coat shrinks back, it doesn't look as good. It doesn't cover the whole nail. So when I'm stamping, I have started switching over to using Ultra Gloss, and I've found that it doesn't shrink back on top of the Outshine. So I get a little bit better finish. The other benefits of Ultra Gloss is it's completely non-porous, so it can't stain. So if you have someone who is a hairstylist, this is the top coat that you use on them, or someone who does a lot of self-tanning, things like that.
Does that make it matte?
Oh, nope, I'm going to matte it after this actually then. So she wants matte, which I totally forgot. So I'm just going to top coat this, and then I'm going to go over it all 5 with matte, and that's going to make them all matte. But that way I don't have any shrinkage. So go ahead and put that in. Thank you for saying something.
That's okay.
Before the end of before the end of the nail. All right, let's do these two real quick, like from the top without badly behaving stuff.
Debbie wanted to see my nail, but I think she saw it.
Yes, you will see it. We will be. Now I'm gonna do it quickly, quick like lightning. Right, these two, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, clean. Brush, scrape, stamp. I like to turn it so that it has a different angle. This one had a little bit of extra here. It's not perfect. Hold on. You know how I am.
I like that about you.
I know. All right, let's try that again. Brush, scrape, stamp, perfection. Let's turn it so we get a little different angle. Perfect. So my friends who, I have all these nail techs in the world, and everybody's stamping a ton of, or doing plaid nails. Plaid's always so super popular right now. What were you pointing?
Oh, this just has stampers.
Yes, so we'll
Clean that.
clean that on top of our little pad. Scrape. to turn it because I like to have this little square right surrounding that.
So you were saying your nail tips.
So yeah, a lot of people, you know, or people will bring in pictures of nails that are plaid, and you know that, you know, you can tell when they're hand painted and it takes them forever and a day. And I'm like, people don't have time to sit through a ton of plaid. And I mean, like, why would you when it comes out so perfect? So it's so much fun. All right, and we'll do the green, and then we're going to, just going to use the Ultra Gloss on the 2 stamped nails and then matte everything. Make sure that's coming through perfect. Good. There's tons extra.
So fast.
Yeah, it's fast. Once you get going, it doesn't take too long. It's just, you know, we were playing with the card. The card was our nemesis today. But hopefully you guys that get new stampers have learned how to work your stamper when you get a brand new one so that you don't have the dreaded, my products aren't stamping. How do I want this?
Here's that.
There we go. That's how I want it.
Well, I was just noticing, so this was the red that you had?
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one. And
the
so
colors
it's
change.
very subtle, but it's got a little bit of something, something. I need that, please.
And these are the other ones. These 3 are in that pamphlet. And that
Okay.
one, yeah.
So this is just Ultra Gloss.
And she said, like, kind of, oh, sorry.
That's
I
okay.
forgot we were on video.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
So I'm just doing the Ultra Gloss on this because I don't want it to shrink on me. And when I do the matte, I want it to be super even. So I'm going to do the Ultra Gloss, cure that. Then I'm going to go ahead and switch right to matte. I'm going to use the Ugly Duckling matte. It's won all kinds of awards for best matte. So
Can we leave
I
the plaid
also-
one shiny?
we
Or do
can
you
do
think
whatever you want.
Or do you think it would be better to matte? I like them shiny.
All right, shiny.
I gotta have all the things.
All the things. The shiny, the matte, the smelling, the mooding.
So she said, Jess said that with these color changing ones, like on your nail bed, it'll be one color, and then where the nail is not on your nail bed, it'll go
Like growing out.
ombre, like ombre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun. So if you're really warm, like she's really warm, she's been going in the lamp, so her whole nail's pretty warm. But especially as it's growing out and you're getting a little bit of length, you'll see it ombre even more. It's just so fun. That's why I decided to carry this line of products, is because they make the best mood polish, and mood polish is just too much fun. Everyone that's been coming in is like, well, we have to do that. I'm like, yeah.
I bet it looks really cool with longer nails like yours too.
I know. I'm excited to do them. And there's so many fun new like holiday stamping plates that that one didn't cure perfect. We're gonna make sure. Lift your thumb up. You know how we always ask you to lift your thumb up? You forgot. So lift this thumb up a little bit when you get it in the light.
Okay.
She has a tendency to roll her thumb, you guys. Do you see how that wrinkled just a little bit? It'll completely cure if she gets her thumb lifted. It'll be all right. But if you're ever wondering why that happens, it's typically on the same people because they roll their thumbs under, and there's no light bulb under the bottom of the table. I'm not calling you out or anything.
No, it's okay.
It's a good
I
learning.
volunteer to model.
It's good learning. Which brand mood polish do I use? This is Le Chat, and they have tons and tons and tons of colors. I carry them all at Love Nails now because I love them so very much. So they're perfect match mood. They come as a set. So this one comes with gel polish and the regular polish. So if you needed the regular polish, it has both. Some of them come with just the gel polish, but a couple of the specialty ones, like these cafe ones, they come with both, which is really nice. So I love them. Le Chat mood changing. It's the best. I'm been really impressed. Really super fun, and they change really, really nicely. I probably showed everyone that already. Now with the plaid, I did this on a video once where I used foil. So if you use the sticky black and then you rub foil on it, you can create a really shiny, silvery effect. All right, here we go. I'm going to wipe these off first, and then I'm going to go after the ones that have a little bit of polish on her finger. And it will just disappear like that. So do not be concerned if you get polish on them. It'll come right off with good pure acetone. All right, look at how pretty. I do like the mixture of the matte and the shiny. It's a great idea, Miss Thing. So now I'm just going to finish. I always finish around the edges. Make sure nothing's sharp, nothing's uneven. You want to make sure everything is as smooth as possible. And then you're also going to want to make sure that you file underneath the free edge. This is really important because if you have clients whose nails dry out, especially this time of year, you might see your clients come in, oh, my nails are curling away on the tip and I have a little bit that's not attached properly, and then they peel at their natural nail. You get a huge disaster. And so you want to make sure you are using your e-file and coming up and removing that little bit of nail right on the tip. That's going to prevent the curling. Okay, really important. It's also going to thin out the free edge here. It's going to remove any top coat that might have seeped under there. So it does a lot of things. Don't skip this step. So what I typically do when I have matte is I don't put cuticle oil on the matte ones because I don't want them to suddenly go shiny. So when she dries her hands, they won't look so dry. When she washes them, right now they do because I put all the alcohol on them. So a little bit of spot. There we go. All right, guys, so there you go. There's those pretty little mats with the mood changing, and now she basically has two plaids in one because when she's cold, they're going to be darker. So that's fun. So thanks for joining us. Hopefully you guys picked up a couple of little tricks and techniques to do with your new stampers, and we'll talk to you later. Bye. If it wants to. Oh, it's because I'm low battery.